This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
I know practice, so do we have the pads on now finally?
We do. As of Wednesday, we have the pads on finally. We have some studying going on. The last two Canes practices have been closed to the media, but the one tomorrow at Hard Rock Stadium will be open to the media. So you'll have everybody will get a chance to see these guys in pads, do a little bit of hitting, and a little bit of practice for all of South Florida to see.
So what are you hearing anything about what's going on the offense right now?
No, I mean nothing but good positive reviews. I mean, you know, they're working through camp like they usually do. I feel like because they're in an offense that's much more receiver friendly, much more quarterback friendly, a lot less you know, pro style, regular drop back, play action stuff. They're enjoying it more. I think that you're seeing some guys that are built to play in this offense thrive in this offense and do well. Feedback I'm getting is positive. I think, you know, the freshmen are looking like freshmen at times, which is expected, but they're definitely different looking freshmen than the ones that have come in here the last few years, at least physically, size, work ethic. They're better. They're more the pedigree of what Mario wants. And I think, you know, guys like Ray Joseph already getting first team snaps. Francis Maligoa, obviously, the starting right tackle. Mark Fletcher is doing great. Ruben Bain is doing great. So you're seeing a lot of the true freshmen come in and make an impact right away.
All right, so but we got to get to reality. Of course, there's always good things. You get home, you got your wife. Maybe the doorbell isn't working. You know, you enjoy your job, but the printer's broken. Yeah, there's always things. There's always a negative somewhere. There's always a concern.
Right.
Dolphins camp, we're worried about left guard and right tackle. We watch it, we see it. I know you don't get to see it, okay? But coaches can't just blow roses up your ass the entire time. There's got to be something of concern because last year there was a lot of things to be concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think Jalen Rivers, me personally, I don't think Jalen Rivers is a left tackle, okay? I think that he's an interior guard. I think when he goes up against elite edge rushers, he's going to get beaten. When they play Texas A&M, he's going to give up sacks. When Francis Maligoa lines up against guys that are 3 and 4 years older than him that have been in college, he's probably going to get his butt whipped a few times. So is everything beautiful in Hurricane Land? No. There's going to be guys that look, you know, like they're making adjustments. But compared to last year, compared to the complete just garbage show that we saw last year, I think there's a much better feeling across the board. I think, you know, Tyler Harrell, you got to see, is he going to be healthy the whole season? Is he going to be able to stretch defenses the way you want him to? If he's not available, do you have to depend on a true freshman like Ray to be that guy? Those are things that, as the season goes on, you know how it is. Those freshmen aren't used to playing those kind of physical battles every single week. So, to me, you know, that's why everybody gets all excited. This team is going to win 9-10 games. I'm like, dude, just look at history. How many teams win with true freshmen? How many teams win 10, 11 games with true freshmen?
No.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So you're going to have growing pains. Now, is it going to be better than last year? I have no doubt this is going to look better than last year. I have no doubt they're going to score more points than last year. But I think against better competition, against good teams, against Florida State, Clemson, Texas A&M, potentially the 2 North Carolina schools when you have to go and play those 2 games on the road, I think they're going to look like a 7-5, 84 football team.
Yeah, no, you and I have talked about that several times. I just like I like to hear both sides. I know there's going to be some positive things, but there has to be stuff. You know, the last time things were beautiful and positive, it was like 2001. It was 91. It was 89.
Yeah.
It was 87. Come on, you know. I know when it's beautiful, and you're right. I know Manny will get them there. You know what I'm saying? But I know that there's going to be, just like I know that the Moss family eventually was going to win with InterMiami they're going to screw up and they're going to make all kinds of mistakes because they're new to this shit. But eventually they'll figure it out. And the same thing here. But I know we're going to go some trials and tribulations this year. That, you know, we got to go through some tough stuff. Is Tyler looking super comfortable? Is it something that he's adjusting to? What's the word with Mike?
You know, it's hard for me to tell without seeing 11-on-11 action because I frankly, I'm not able to see what he looks like under pressure. But going through 7-on-7, just flinging the football, I don't see any physical limitations. Like, I don't see a guy who injured his shoulder last year and had a grade 3 AC joint sprain. I don't see that anymore. I see a guy who is throwing the football well. But let's see when the bullets fly and he's got defensive linemen on top of him again. Does he get apprehensive? Does he throw the ball out of bounds? Does he stay in the pocket? What kind of guy is he going to be? None of that ultimately gets answered until September 9th. So I think you can say he looks great in practice and that he's got better chemistry with his receivers and his arm doesn't show any signs of wear and tear. But again, until the bullets fly, brother, you know how it is. Like we got to take word of what we're hearing from the coaches and what little we get to see.
Where are we recruiting wise? Transfer portal, walk us through, because I don't know when these dates and windows open and end and all that kind of shit.
Well, the transfer portal window is basically closed, which is why Lawrence Seymour, a kid who decided to enter the portal last week, realized, man, I can't go play somewhere else right now. That's why he decided to ultimately come back. So unless you're a grad transfer, and Lawrence Seymour is not a grad transfer, he hasn't graduated from Miami yet, you can't just sort of move about the country. And I think you saw this past week with a couple of key players, Darrell Jackson, a former Miami starter who went to FSU, Tez Walker, a receiver at North Carolina. Both of them had their NCAA waivers denied. So I think a guy like Lawrence Seymour, who normally would leave at this time of year, is looking at his situation saying, man, I may not get that waiver to go play somewhere else this season. So let me stick it out. Let me go to school. Let me put in another year of school. And it's going to happen in a lot of places, though. It just doesn't get advertised. You know, Mario's not going to come out there and say, hey, we've got 10 kids that we had on scholarship that are no longer on scholarship and are just students. What's going to happen is you're just not going to see them anymore. You know, during the season, they won't even be dressed out. So I think for a lot of these guys, like a Lawrence Seymour and others who are at the bottom of the depth chart, a lot of them may just transition into being full-time students and then enter into the transfer portal at the next window. So I know this. They're not screwing around. They're not just going to play guys to play guys. They want to win. They know they have to win from that perspective. And then from a recruiting perspective, look, they were in it for Colin Simmons, a 5-star edge rusher who they had come and visit. Mario brought in a bunch of elite defensive linemen over the summertime. But, you know, the kid is from Texas. His brother's autistic. And as far as I know, you know, Texas came through with the NIL that he wanted, took care of him and his family, and, you know, they beat out LSU and Miami. But this is what's going to happen. If you're not a team that is winning national championships and putting guys in the NFL on the regular, you're not going to win battles for 5-star guys. You know, you're usually going to lose those. So I get the narrative. Hey, Jason Taylor, he hasn't won too many of these big recruiting battles. Dude, you're 5-7. Like you fight, you get into the finals, and you hope maybe in 2 years this kid decides, you know what, I don't want to play in Texas anymore. I'm ready to go somewhere else. And you're able to take them as a transfer, you know? So that's why you continue to recruit these guys in the era of the transfer portal. You host as many of the studs as you can, and if you're the second or third school of their choice, you might end up getting them the second go-round.
Right. One more thing before I let you go. We have a couple dynamic players back there in the secondary, but still last year there was a lot of inconsistencies with that secondary.
Yeah.
I know you're not watching, but are they just giving you flowers from what's going on back there? Or
well, I asked Mario specifically about the cornerbacks on Wednesday. Is there any way you can declare, hey, these guys look good? In other words, you trust these guys. And I've said this on the show. I mean, they've only got like 2 or 3 cornerbacks that were actually on the team last year back. The rest of it is all transfers and freshmen. So to me, Mario is still in wait and see mode. I think if he felt really good about certain guys, he would say it, but it's not there yet. So I think, look, to me, you ask me just from the outside and previous conversations that I've had with people on the staff, I think the older players are going to be the ones that play. The Jaden Davises, who's played at Oklahoma for 5 years, Devontae Brown, who was a 3-year starter at UCF, Daryl Porter Jr., who started at West Virginia before he came here. Those guys will all be in the rotation. And then hopefully as the year progresses, Damari Brown, who's probably the most talented guy that they have, he will eventually grow into that role and be somebody who maybe starts the last 3 or 4 games. But I think it's going to be a lot of the transfers and a lot of the guys that weren't here that have experience that they're going to end up going with.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Better yet, baby, subscribe to The Athletic like I and many others do so you can get a lot of insight on what's going on. Breaking news is all these college football conferences turning upside down. You can find out everything going on in The Athletic. Manny, as always, have a great weekend, my brother. We will continue to rock and roll in Canada.
All right, brother. I'll see you soon. Take care.
There you go. Manny Navarro, baby. And reach out to our friends at Caneswear, baby. You know what? I got to memorize the new address. I don't know. The old address, 2511 South University Drive. It is the same shopping center, but it's right next to La Spada. What do you got for me?
Go visit Caneswear, 2566 North University Drive.
I can't forget it anymore. The year I was born, 2566. That's it. 2566 South University Drive in Davie. And right next to La Spada, they get another plug again. It's amazing. By the way, if you order over $99, you will get free shipping, ladies and gentlemen. That's Caneswear.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.